Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A very good Monday morning to you. Well, you can just push those a little closer our way. You'll be good if you need to create a little extra space there, Reid. Good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Thank you everyone for listening across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams at edmontonsportstalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio for those watching on the YouTube or listening on podcast, wherever you get your podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Iwanyk and Tom Gazzola with you here. Hope you had a lovely Easter weekend. And Reid Wilkins from the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. He's with us on this Monday. Boys, how are you? How's Easter?
Great. Is today also a holiday for some?
It depends the industry that you are in.
Okay,
This is not a stat.
It is not a stat, but it is, I believe, a federal holiday. So federal workers would have it off. Schools have it off. I don't know if banks have it off or not. I feel like banks do.
Very pleasant drive in today.
Yeah, it's a lot of businesses have it work day, but then there's, as I said, the certain ones.
Yeah.
It's Reid mentioned, not a stat, so not everyone will have it off. I saw Benjamin Moore downstairs. They usually open up at 8:30. I think today they're 9.
Oh,
so they're doing just short hours. So there might be people that are just doing holiday hours type things today.
I see. Okay, so lovely weekend. It was great. It was enjoyable. A lot of downtime, which was nice. Caught a movie on Friday. I know we'll talk about that. And yeah, good food yesterday. Catching up with family. My cousin has a new dog. He likes to bite.
Oh, is that good or bad?
Not good.
Like
she
playful biting or
It is
actual?
playful biting. Like, it doesn't hurt. I mean, if you have kids would probably be hurt by it, and but I had to calm him down. She's not good at training anything really. I feel like she just went and got a dog because she wanted a dog and broke up with her boyfriend. And so I got to play with this dog, which has had 4 or 5 different names since she got him. And I didn't even know what to call him. So, but he was cute. He was tiny and he liked to bite, but I had to teach him no biting. It was fun.
And this is your cousin?
This is my cousin on my mom's side. Yeah, she's interesting.
It's a lovely way to talk about family. That's it.
She has no clue. She has zero interest in sports. Guaranteed
Okay,
she's
good.
not
Maybe
watching.
she has interest in supporting you.
No.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not. Definitely.
Yeah, it doesn't watch just to be a good cousin.
No,
Oh,
absolutely not.
No, I had a moment where I had my brother on the Hangout a couple of years ago. Remember at Century?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of messages where we go to family thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, I watched your appearance on the show." It's like, "Oh, thanks for watching it all the other times. Glad you tuned in just when my brother was on."
yeah.
But
Well,
the rest of the time, you're
unique.
not tuned in. That's cool. Thank you.
It's not unique for him to be on a talk show. It's standard fare for you to be there.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's not
it's-
special anymore.
So they don't throw me on at all.
No, why would
But
they?
the moment my brother's on there, I'll start watching the show. It's like, yeah,
Right.
feel free to stick around 9 to 11, Monday through Friday. I'll be here. Thanks
Hello.
for tuning in. Reid, how was your Easter?
Good. Nothing Easter related happened. There's an Easter dinner this coming Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you celebrate a little bit later.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
Well, you would be
Yeah.
if it's not here.
I don't know.
next
The
week.
calendar changed, right? Because something happened with the we call it the Ukrainian calendar, but it's not the Ukrainian calendar. The Orthodox,
The Gregorian, and there's the Julian calendar. I think it's the Julian calendar.
So Easter's always been. So Christmas is always 2 weeks after Christmas, but
6th and 7th.
For the Ukrainians?
yes, but now Easter.
Well, not anymore.
No, it's changed.
For Easter, for Christmas.
What are we doing?
Christmas is in Ukraine. They now celebrate 24th, 25th because they want to separate themselves from Russia.
Right.
I mean,
And something happened with Easter as well, because Easter was anywhere from the same weekend until up to 6 weeks later. And it changed every year. And now something has changed. But sometimes in with my extended family too, sometimes it's when everybody can come. That's when the meal
That
is.
makes sense.
So I think
Yeah.
I think maybe this coming Sunday might have been more convenient for other people, especially the people hosting.
Yeah, I've never understood the formula for Easter, why it is the way it is. But you're like, because I went through a Ukrainian bilingual school. It's easy to call it Ukrainian Easter and all that.
Right.
And the Ukrainians still do celebrate that Easter. And I remember we were trying to figure out as a family what the differences were, and we couldn't figure it out. where it was just very complicated. I'd have to ask my aunt. She knows those things better. But there was weird because sometimes it could be on the same weekend as everyone else's Easters, and other times it'd be like 4 weeks later.
So
they're
I
celebrating
believe
Easter.
the most it could be was 6 weeks after. So yeah, this coming Sunday actually is the I believe it's the Orthodox Easter. Why is Orthodox Easter on a different day? It's a movable feast using a combination of the older Julian calendar, the lunar cycle, and the strict adherence to celebrating after Jewish Passover. That's the AI result. So there's
But
probably better.
Easter is connected to the lunar calendar,
Right.
Because it's the first. Can't remember if it's new or full moon after spring begins. It's like the first weekend after that or something like that.
Right. So no, there was nothing specifically Easter related in my life, except I suppose getting Good Friday off work. But there'll be some sort of a family gathering on Sunday. As I've talked about on my show over the years, the extended family gatherings have gotten a little smaller, just with some maybe elderly people not being able to attend, and then some of the younger people, who have gotten married. Sometimes they might go to the other side of the family and stuff like that. But there is something happening on Sunday.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Something to look forward to for.
Thank you, Matthew. I need it. Yeah,
Well, you need something to get through these next 2 hours with me.
yeah, I really do.
Are you watching Artemis? Following along with Artemis?
Oh, the thing in space?
Yeah.
Yes, that is. Do they see the moon today? The
11
backside of it?
o'clock is like live streams on Netflix and Apple Plus and on their YouTube and all this because it's supposed to be the point
Very
where we're
cool.
getting to where it'll be behind the moon.
Very
nice.
cool.
Loop around. That's all happening today. I think
Like,
starting at
it's
about
just
11.
to me like, you're going all the way there. Why couldn't have they arranged a landing?
That's
That's
next
happening.
one, right?
That's happening in two land.
But what if, Matthew? What if I said to you, "Hey, Matthew, I'm taking a week off in May," and you're like, "Yeah, cool," and then you were like, "Yeah, hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm driving to Disneyland." Oh, what are you gonna do? Rides or what? No, I'm just driving to Disneyland. I'm gonna circle it. Then I'm gonna drive back to Edmonton. I know it's different with moon landings. It's just
like
funny.
this comparison.
But there were several Apollo missions
So there's
before
five planned
the one that
Artemises.
met. Right.
This is 2. I don't know what's happening. 3. 4 is a moon landing. 5 is a moon landing and starting the moon base
Yes, the moon base.
Oh yeah, they're gonna build the moon base.
because they want to then go to Mars.
Right, but Mars is, you ain't coming back from Mars, baby.
Why?
Because that's how it is. It's too far away.
Did you watch any of the Mars, like the footage that came back from it? It was fascinating. I think it's on
Are you
YouTube
saying this
still.
is a suicide mission?
No, I'm just saying I don't think we're going to be shuttling back and forth to Mars.
Why not?
Unless we discover some new fuel or propulsion system, like in The Expanse. Everybody, drop references to The Expanse in the comments. Tom, you don't like Mars is really far away. Like the people who go to Mars are not coming back to Earth. I don't think.
Can humans
Correct me if I'm wrong.
really?
I feel like
If you go to Mars to start a Mars base, that's your life. That is now your life.
Well, I mean, I would assume you'd want to stay there for a while. Now, why would
The
we
rest
want
of
to
your life would
inhabit
be a while.
Mars?
I don't
There's
because
no water there
well,
that
yet
we know of.
that we know of.
yet.
Okay, I was just trying. So I
bring
gotta
some over
find
there.
more of this. So one of the things it says a fast Mars mission of 245 days round trip could be possible with on-orbit staging.
See?
But
I'm
not landing on Mars.
Why not?
And you have to pick a point where our orbits are like you don't if we're on this side of the sun and Mars is over here, that's not when you go to Mars. You got to go to Mars when they're closer to each other, right? So we're kind of passing each other in the orbit.
How long does it take for that to happen?
I'm not sure.
Couple
but,
of
but
years?
I mean, there's obviously a lot of planning involved.
Yeah.
So
The mathematics and whatnot. But I feel like it wouldn't be a lifetime thing.
But
I thought it was. I thought if you
fuel-wise or
humans
something, I could
land
see
on
that.
Mars, then they're there.
Yeah, because if fuel-wise, that makes sense.
Because
You
you
can
got to
only
build
carry
a
so
ship.
much
You got to have a
fuel,
ship to get back.
unless, because I'm assuming the landing and like the liftoff would use up a lot more fuel. Unless you're sending 2 ships and then one's refuel. When you
Yeah.
launch, you refuel or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
If we knew, I think we'd be working for NASA. I would say that.
Yeah, exactly. But didn't they aren't they starting to figure out, was it nuclear fission? Like
cold or like the fallout
cold
stuff?
fusion? Yeah. Where fossil fuels won't be needed. There was a huge discovery a year or two ago where they finally made a breakthrough. But of course,
maybe, yeah. Well, I remember even when I was I think in high school or university, they thought they had cold fusion, and then it kind of went away. Did it go away, or is it just suppressed
That's what I'm saying.
until the fossil fuels really are running out, and then all of a sudden energy companies are going to be like, oh wait, we have this, whereas really they had it for 80 years or something.
Right.
There was a guy who claimed, I think he was debunked, that there was a guy. This is I think it was in the 60s or 70s. He claimed he drove across the United States using a water-powered vehicle, but I think that was then
good try.
Debunked. There were I just looked up all the Apollo missions. Now I don't know what happened to Apollo 2 and 3. Apollo 1,
That one was a disaster.
They died.
Yeah.
There was a fire.
Inside the.
Yeah.
Do you know what they do? What they did with that and Challenger, and wasn't there another one that blew up?
So Challenger was 86,
Oh,
and there wasn't Columbia in the early 2000s.
Yes.
2002 or something
But
like
the
that.
Columbia shuttle had existed for a long time.
Yeah, but it
And
broke up.
it is coming back.
And
Because on liftoff, they lost some pieces.
yeah, that's right. They bury them at NASA.
The astronauts?
Not the astronauts, but
The ship?
the ships. Yeah.
Apollo 8, first crewed flight to the moon. They made 10 lunar orbits in 20 hours. So they went up there and did laps.
Okay.
Apollo 9, it looked like they just orbited the Earth and were testing stuff. Apollo 10, they got 15K from the lunar surface and then came back.
Oh, that's
It was a dress rehearsal for the lunar landing.
but I can't
Don't
go.
land.
Yeah.
Apollo 11 was the landing. Can you name the 3 astronauts? Early trivia. We'll be doing
Buzz
some trivia today,
Aldrin,
everybody.
Neil Armstrong, and
I wouldn't know the third.
I think this
Chuck
is the guy
Caton.
who didn't get out. Michael Collins.
Michael Collins.
Chuck Caton did play-by-play for the Hartford Whalers.
I know.
That would suck.
Why
You're on
didn't
this
he get
trip
out?
with 3 people and 2 get to go on and you're stuck on the ship. And you're so close to the moon and you're not allowed.
You got a job to do. They were on the surface for 2 hours and 31 minutes. Apollo 12, they were on the surface for 7 hours and 45 minutes. Apollo 13 obviously
Didn't make it.
didn't make it. Well, they were at the moon, but
Yeah.
and then there were, how many Apollo missions were there? 8 to 17.
The last one was 1972 where they were on the moon, or 76 or something.
Yeah, December 72.
Yeah.
Somebody was the first geologist on the moon, and this was the last time they were outside for 22 hours total.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because I think they interviewed one of the guys from that last mission going into Artemis 2. I saw the NASA YouTube channel had it.
So anyway,
Fascinating.
anyway, Mars missions. I don't know, man. I don't know if you're landing on Mars, if you're coming back. But you got to build something to. Well, I guess you could send robots over and start building something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But do we need to be on Mars other than just saying we have to do it? Like, why do we need a moon base?
Great question.
Well, the argument could be, why did we ever need to go to the moon in the first place?
Well, because it's close by.
Well, and there was a lot of technology that has come from, has been a byproduct of those missions. You know, the technologies behind those did help to us build and further technology for the MRI machines and CT scans.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's done all sorts. Actually, I was reading about it a couple of days ago, and the technology behind some of those Apollo missions helped figure out how to do like the right things for bridges and buildings for earthquake proofing it, for all that shaking, because these ships have to be prepared for that. That it's helped lead to that. So I guess if we're planning to go to Mars, there might be a huge byproduct that will benefit on Earth with various things. And what if we found water over there? What if we found livable life? Or
Yeah.
like a planet that's worth living?
Bacterium.
Maybe we could have 2 spots to live as humans.
Great.
couple people have been watched The Expanse. There's this. I've talked about this before. I was watching it for a while, and now I just periodically check it out. It's a YouTube channel called The Why Files, WHY, and I can't. I don't know. I think the guy. I don't know if he used to be in radio or something. He's a very good presenter, and he presents conspiracy, science fiction, like weird stuff, like everything from ghosts and disappearances to aliens and mummies and all this kind of stuff. And he did one a few years ago about there's like an alien base on the dark side of the moon, and that there was this guy named Ingo Swann who could like project his consciousness and look at things, like remotely. And that was one of the theories, is that there's an alien base on the far side of the moon.
I'll watch YouTube today. You're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll have our reveal. But
they'll cover it up.
Oh, of course. They'll put big tarps and whatnot.
Just like these photos that make the Earth look like a sphere.
You know what's great about those? There's the comments now. It's like, why can't I see humans in these pictures?
Oh, exactly. How do you even know?
If there's so many humans in one space, how come I can't see it in these pictures? Not realizing how vast the Earth really is.
People are brilliant.
To see a small little human, how small we are.
We're tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's this, speaking of that stuff, there's this great investigative journalist in Vegas. His name's George Knapp. Like mid to late 80s to now. He still is on a local Las Vegas station. I think it's KLAS or something. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He is very much, he's the one that revealed that there was Area 51. Have you heard about Bob Lazar?
No.
He's the guy that says he worked at S4, which is an area that has been confirmed by the government of Area 51. And he said he worked on UFOs. There was a movie that came out on Amazon, I think, over the weekend that Bob Lazar is featured in, and they tell his story. But it's because of George Knapp, who's just a straight up journalist that has been caught up in this. Anyway, so George Knapp has this YouTube channel with Jeremy Corbell, who also did a film on Netflix on Bob Lazar. And it talks a lot about this like disclosure and what they found. George Knapp went to Russia in the early 90s or late 80s, and he actually smuggled like their findings. Like he got documents from the Russian government, then he smuggled them back to America. He gave them to Congress, and it's wild stuff, man. So I find it all very fascinating. And this remote viewing that you're talking about, that this guy can see on the far side of the moon, it's like, apparently it's a thing, but you watch it and you're like, damn, this is crazy. Is it real? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's real.
Yeah. So anyway, I find it all very fascinating. It just came out this past weekend.
Okay.
I watch it. I'm
Convenient timing for it to come out.
Well, why wouldn't they put it out? So anyway, we're all watching Artemis all day.
Well, at 11 is the big.
In an hour and a half.
Start.
It's going to be close to the moon, or
it's supposed to be going on the other side of it.
Because is it doing one loop around or two?
I thought it's just one.
One, and then it comes back.
But it's going to be the furthest behind. Like this is going the furthest than we've ever gone with humans.
Or it'll be the furthest humans have been away from Earth.
I believe so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I believe that's the big part of this one too, is that we're going to head out even further and then come back.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But yeah, like it was again, it's you can watch it on NASA's YouTube.
That's
and
what I'm trying
to
find right now.
4K and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like they've got deals with like Netflix and Apple and Prime and all these platforms that it's just going to be streaming today, and it's 11 o'clock. It starts.
Okay. So the previous lunar missions didn't have to shoot around the far side of the moon to get back?
I have no clue.
I guess they could have, but maybe they weren't as far on the other side.
This is the furthest that they will go.
Okay.
So, and then they'll be back on Earth next weekend. I think it is.
Oh, wow.
Because this is a 10-day mission.
Right.
So by the weekend, they should be another 5. Yeah. So by Friday, Saturday, they should be back on Earth or coming back and entering our orbit and returning. And
then how long do they got to stay in like decontamination?
I don't. Do you have to? Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know.
You saying because
they could be like
the aliens and all
bugs.
that?
Watch out for them. Hey, Myrtle, watch out for them space bugs.
What do we have for earnings?
Here's a text from Sean. It says, interesting thing. I noticed watching the Hangout, everyone is always on their phones while having a conversation. It's a weird look, but I guess it shouldn't since it's no different than having a laptop open. It certainly makes me think of that's how my friends and I look when we're hanging out. Yes, Sean, this show as it enters, we're 3 years into EST almost.
This is the third season.
Third season. This is how we communicate via text message, text line, and inbox.
Well, he nailed it, actually. When we were planning the Hangouts, we said no laptops because it would just look weird. Bunch of us on laptops and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I broke that rule. I didn't even know that.
Did
on
you
the
do
Hangout?
that?
On trade deadline. No,
Yeah.
the Skinner
different.
trade day.
Yeah, but then we're doing some other things, so that those are ones that are a little different. And honestly, the reason I had no problem with phones and too is that it was like we're just hanging out. It's a bunch of buddies hanging out.
Yeah.
And generally, when you are hanging out with your buddies, you're just on your phone, also talking,
Yeah.
texting, doing other things. You nailed
makes sense.
exactly the point of why phones work in this show. We generally are on YouTube for the nasty chat or into our text line, or we're Googling things that we're maybe discussing.
Yeah. That's a good point, though. It might be weird to turn it on a talk show and see guys on their phone. But yeah, that's how we look in the chat. I don't think I'm on mine that much when
I go on to keep
here.
tabs on the text
Yeah,
line.
YouTube is usually always up on my phone.
Yeah.
But it is meant that if you're on, it's the Hangout. So when you're hanging
It is
out
a radio
with people,
show,
you're
Sean.
just,
So
when you're talking, when just watching a game with your buddies or whatever, you're just on your phone.
we just put it on camera. But it's interesting the way, I don't know, 15 years ago, I think it was either the Score or Sportsnet started broadcasting their radio shows on TV. And they had to figure out the camera angles. Radio, we've been working on radio for long.
Yeah.
Radio booths are usually tiny. And then they finally started putting them in actual studios like ours.
Yeah.
Our main studio.
It's not a huge room, but it's big enough.
It's big
yeah.
enough. And you can see, but like, there's always, like, if someone's on the radio, there's always computer screens in front of them and have been for decades. It's just now it's become more presentable. People have figured out it's weird when the camera's like in tight on your face and smushed in, you're crammed into a small studio and like old school radio studios. Now it's more open and you can see more of it. But Sean's right. Like it is different if you're just seeing it.
But I will say to Sean, it's not as if we're all sitting here staring at our phones, not talking.
True.
We're looking at our phones to find stuff
Reference
to add,
points. Yeah.
add content to the show.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ian Texan says that's why they're building the moon base to make it stop on the way to Mars. Maddie brought that up.
Oh, thank you. Did you say that, Matt?
Maddie,
Well, I said they're building a moon base, so then they go to Mars.
Just get into text.
Okay.
But is that distance going to be enough to get to fuel or whatever they need fuel
Well, I
up
guess
to
it'll
then
help.
go to Mars and come back? Like that's what I'm fascinated by all that stuff.
It is neat. The science is cool. Like we went there. 1969 was Apollo 11.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're coming up on
Yeah.
60
It's a
years.
long time.
How have we not advanced enough that we can just pick up and improve everything that we've done before and just go back and forth now? That's what I wondered. And I know there's probably a lot of nuance to it and stuff that I obviously glossed over, but it's like, why, if we're so advanced in our technology, why can't we just use that old stuff that we had in 1972 and like apply the new technology, just go back and forth rather than doing, was it 5 missions? And we have to go around.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I don't get.
That's a good question. Why did they stop to begin with? I don't remember. Oh, I wasn't.
My guess would be political pressures
price.
of the price of it.
Yeah.
Like the reason we went to the moon, and the Americans initially, it was the battle between them and the
beat the
Soviets to get
Soviets,
there.
yeah.
It became a very political thing to go there.
Right.
And then it was just, patriotism, let's get to the moon. Well, once you do that, can you keep affording the billions of dollars that is required?
Right.
Whereas now it's like Canada's involved in this one. A lot of countries have come together for this one. We have a Canadian on this mission.
Oh, right.
Now there's an effort to go. And why do we need to go to Mars? That I'd have to read into because there's clearly something that we believe that we need. It's the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Find your closest convenient location on their website. They also have 75% off 8 weeks on 5x5 and 10x10 units. Check them out, sentinel.ca. We will get into movie stuff a little bit later.
Okay, good.
But let's talk some Edmonton Oilers. Let's talk. How shocked were you guys that Patrick Waugh got let go yesterday?
Blown away.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
That was wild.
Full disclosure, I didn't even see it till this morning.
But it got
Well, that
tucked
makes
in.
sense.
It was Easter yesterday, right? Like it got tucked in at like 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Yeah, it was like an afternoon type thing.
Yeah, there
Like,
were
it was-
games going on, and it was bizarre. And they gave DeBoer a 5-year deal, so burn up one of those this year.
Right.
And Patrick Waugh is on the way out, and like the Islanders have been in the mix pretty much all season.
Yeah, but they're doing bad lately. They've lost 4 in a row, and I think just overall they've been losing more than they've been winning for probably about a month.
And this isn't
Yeah.
Darsh's guy. And so some of the thought maybe is he just worried that a Pete DeBoer is going to get scooped up in the offseason
Well, that's
quickly
the
or
thing.
something. So
I'm-
you make
I'm
this
surprised.
move because he's got a 4-year deal on top of this after this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised it took somebody this long to hire DeBoer. Now, I know he was with the Olympic team, but he still could have taken a job. Or maybe he said, I'm not going to work till I want to be a full-time. I don't know
Well,
what the...
he's getting paid for this year still by Dallas, I believe.
Oh, was he?
Maybe he wanted to maximize that.
He's a good coach. Now, I don't think he's ever been anywhere longer than 3 years or 3.5. So, it's interesting he got a deal of that length. So was this the end of Waugh's second season with the Islanders?
I think
Or the
Yeah.
end of the third?
so. He came in during a season a couple of years. I feel like this would have been his third season.
Well, was he a mid-season replacement?
Yes.
He was,
Oh,
yeah,
you-
because it was
okay.
a shocker. Because out of nowhere, they brought in Patrick Waugh.
But that still...
Lamoriello.
Was Lamoriello
Yeah.
in charge?
Yeah. We had Matthew Darsh on Hello
Yeah.
Hockey a couple months ago.
He only did one full season with the Islanders.
Last year?
Yeah, he did 37 games in 23-24. Did a full season last year. Missed the playoffs. And then this year, 78 games.
Who did he replace? Do you know? I'm trying to think.
Who was it?
Wouldn't have been Cap
Lane
Warner,
Lambert.
was it?
Was it Lambert?
I think it was Lane
might have been
Lambert.
Yeah.
That's my guesstimate. I think it was Lane Lambert. Anyway, Maddie, confirm if you can.
Yep.
So a couple things. Is Patrick Waugh
Lambert.
It was Lane Lambert. Okay, good memory. Is Patrick Waugh the type of coach that what?
Well, you just get good memory. You're like praising yourself.
Yeah, give him.
Give myself
Lane
Lambert right there.
Oral.
You're just like, yeah, good memory.
Is Patrick Waugh now going to be typecast as a coach if he ever gets another NHL deal that he burns out quickly? That's one thought. And then the other thing, as we just watched last week with John Tortorella and then yesterday with Pete DeBoer, is the late season new coach bump becoming a strategy, a la like ice the kicker where you call a timeout
Right.
and everybody starts doing it.
So it rarely has happened. I mean, the Devils did it and won the cup. Was that
Fatorik and
for
Larry
Robinson?
Yeah. And Robinson was an assistant coach that year.
Right.
They did it again.
Didn't they do it to Robinson?
No, wasn't it Claude Julien? And then
And Lamoriello
Lou went
came
on the
down.
bench
Right.
himself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think how many late season, like after trade deadline coaching changes there have been in the NHL. There wouldn't be very many that I can think of. Did Tortorella finish the year in Vancouver? Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did the
But
full
when he
year,
got
but then
fired
he
in
was gone.
Philly, it was relatively late in the year, I think.
Let's take a look.
But I think they were already well out of the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah, especially the playoff team, especially.
Right.
It's
so
very rare.
So is this going to become something that
Philly-
a bubble team does?
Philly was 73 games. Yeah, he got let go.
Or a faltering. Like Vegas is probably going to make the playoffs. They probably would have made the playoffs with
Yeah.
Cassidy,
Yeah.
right? But is this going to now be a strategy? And then I guess if the guy's contract is expiring, you're paying him less not to coach.
Right.
So you go to your owners like, we're going to pay him not to coach for 8 games as opposed to 50 if you fire him in November.
Depending on the owner, sometimes that can
Yeah.
be a factor.
Yeah.
For
Depending on
that,
the
too,
owner.
there'd have to be the coaches out there sitting that
Right.
they want to go get. Like, if you want to do it right now, Bruce Cassidy would be the guy. I don't know if Patrick Waugh gets that next year.
I'm drawing a blank. Is Laviolette coaching?
No. I
No,
think
he's
he was
not.
retiring.
Oh, did he actually say he was
I
retiring?
feel like he said he was retiring.
Okay. Because I'm trying
He's
to think.
been around
he
for
was-
a long time.
I mean, he was with the Rangers last year, and as that season was grinding to a painful halt, you would see his press conferences. He just looked defeated.
Right. Well, no, the Rangers still stink.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting, Tom. And like the shelf life in the NHL is so short to begin with.
It is just
And-
nowadays.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure there's people watching right now probably messaging us saying like the Oilers should do this to Knobloch, like fire him this week. You know?
Oh,
It's
we've
just-
seen those
I've
That's
seen that going for Bruce
anything
Cassidy
to-
right now over the last couple of days.
Or the Oilers should go get Cassidy.
Don't wait, get him so you don't lose him.
Right.
Apparently, he's a guy that burns out quickly. The guy's
Both
getting
nice
tired.
players. The reports are that like from day one,
Yeah.
who's wearing on those players.
Yeah.
They ultimately won the cup.
Hard guy to play for.
But
Yeah. Well, and I wonder how many in hockey now, if coaches just decide to coach that way, you know, just decide to be like, okay, I'm going to be a hard ass. I'm probably getting fired. So I might as well just try to do something in 2 years, as opposed to like, okay, I'm going to go in there and try to build a program and
well, Knobloch's a great
really
example.
establish a culture.
He's a guy that's not exactly a hard ass, and there's already pressure of him being gone potentially as early as this offseason.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like if you're that coach, you just sit there, well, screw it. Whether I'm a hard ass or not, I'm gone in 3 years.
Right.
So might as well just be a hard
Right.
ass, get the most out of these guys, and I'm gone in 2.5 years instead
Yeah.
of 3 maybe.
But I think that's an indictment on the type of organization that's hiring these coaches. If, like in this example with Edmonton, you have a guy like Knobloch who gets that 3-year extension, they're going to 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row, and you're already putting in a guy on the bench that nobody wants there, and the guy that they're throwing in there doesn't want to be there necessarily, but it's working to a certain extent right now, which is great. That's indicative to me on the management and the owner not having the patience or the foresight to let things run their course.
Right.
And that's where in Colorado, in Tampa, and then even Carolina, there's a bit of patience there, and I think that comes from the owner, and then that's reciprocated by the management staff, that they allow these coaches, I'm talking about Bednar, Cooper, and Brindamore, to have down years,
Yeah.
and to have faith in them to bring the group back together and back up to the top, which they all have. They've all had struggles. Colorado had struggles a couple of years ago. Carolina's been pretty damn good, but can't win in the playoffs. And they keep Brindamore. And then Cooper's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. So
Yeah, and it's interesting. The whole you got to win. You can't have a down year. I mean, DeBoer goes to the Western Conference Final 3 years in a row with Dallas.
Yep.
Like, look at his coaching register. Like
He goes far.
3 years in a row, he goes to the Western Conference Final.
Yeah.
Loses to Vegas, Edmonton, and Edmonton, and gets fired. But it was just that whole thing, like, well, they need a new voice, and then the stuff he said about Ottinger on the way out, which I think then later he said he probably should have toned down. I think.
Yeah, that was weird. Not good.
But yeah, it's just it's such a weird profession. Like, and I guess it happens in all sports. Like, I don't follow the tenure length of NBA coaches often enough. It seems like NFL teams change coaches fairly regularly if it's not working. But then the good ones stay a long time. You know, like the Steelers never said, "Oh, we were only 500. Let's get rid of Tomlin." You know, or the Chiefs or whatever. You know, Carroll coached the Seahawks for a long time. As a fan of the team, I hope that it appears McDonald's maybe going to be there a long time now, having won in his second year. But hockey, it's just like, and maybe that's just the nature of the sport, because so much of I don't want to say that there aren't tactics in hockey, but so much of hockey is, can you just get your players to work and do the little things night after night? You know, can you just make sure that intensity and those extra 3 to 5% you need to win games, like, is that always there? Like, can you always get that out of them? You know, like, I'm not saying that tactics and line matching aren't important in hockey, but it's not like,
we asked
Andy
Belsey how many
Reid's the master
systems
of the
are there?
screenplay.
It's like
you know,
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't count that many
Like Rob
systems
Brown
that
always
one
used
day
to
he was
say,
going.
like, wow, really, they all forecheck the same. Like they might change depending on if they have the lead or if they're behind.
Some people are so adamant. Oh, they tweaked this. Their F2 is doing this. Like, yeah, okay, but that might work for a month or two, and then other teams adapt. Yeah, it's.
But again, sometimes that's just them being more detailed in it. Like I thought
Yes.
Knobloch made an interesting comment on Saturday. He said, hey, we'd won 5 in a row. You get a little more confident. You start thinking like you're he didn't put it this way, but like you're indestructible. And he said, our first 2 strides coming back checking need to be better. Like that's so much of hockey, right? Like just, okay, we turned over the puck, but let's get back quick. Let's not lollygag or let's not take a second to look around. Let's just get back.
Yeah.
So that's how much of that of coaching in hockey is just staying on top of the players and getting the most out of them all the time and not apparently wearing them down and making them hate you. Like
That's a
I guess
great
Cooper
point.
or Bednar, or they hate you, but like in a way where they're going to work for you, or you can build them back. Like I read this great book about Vince Lombardi several years ago, and it was probably written around 2000 because a lot of the players from the 60s were still alive. Then they said, the players said, like, he just broke us down. Like after we played Sunday, we get back to practice, like, you're terrible. You made all these mistakes, like even when they won. But then he had the ability, like, okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he would then like build them back up. Like he had that a way psychologically to do it. Right. So what do you need from a hockey coach? Is it a master tactician? Is it a master line matcher? Or is it just a master of understanding how to get the most of the players, who's feeling good? And look, one of my criticisms of Knobloch over this year has been how much he talks about, confidence, feeling good. And I'm like, okay, great. You need guys. Yes, you need them feeling good, but like, what are you doing running the bench? But having said that, if he understands a guy is quote unquote feeling it, or as he did especially in the 2024 playoff run, when you're scratching Ryan McLeod or Warren Fogle or Corey Perry or Cody, I think he scratched Perry once.
And he scratched
Cody
CeCe.
Ceci in the Cup final.
Yeah.
And then bringing them back, so making them feel like they suck, but then like, no, champ, go get them now.
Yep.
Maybe he does have that ability, and it's more important than we think.
Well, he got praised for pushing all the right buttons up until about January of last year. And then we started to see, remember the feedback was like, oh, this guy, maybe he's losing the room, or his decision making, why doesn't he take timeouts? That's when he was bulletproof until then. Then he was questioned for about a month, 2 months maybe. And then they kind of rallied and got back on the horse and were a good team in the Western Conference. And then in the playoffs, I think it was until Cup final, they're like, oh, he's pushing the right buttons again. This is Knobloch, great coach. Then in the Cup final, people are, this is the same guy from a few months ago. And then all of this year, he's been questioned. So it's funny how it swings in the opinion. And listen, we know this. We've been doing this for a long time. It's a vocal minority. I think the majority of people don't say anything, understand, and probably have faith in his abilities and tactics.
Well, it was interesting when McDavid said that after they lost last year. We kept doing the same thing because they couldn't even get the puck in against Florida the last 3 games of the playoffs.
Complaining because he just lost?
Is that a criticism of the coach?
Right.
Is that just a frustrated moment? Or is that McDavid saying like, me and other people weren't executing?
Exactly.
that could have been a criticism of the players too, or just frustration. Of course, like in this market, everything with the Oilers gets overanalyzed.
Exactly.
But anyway, what were we talking about originally? Oh yeah, Patrick Waugh.
This started with the Islanders making that move, and would this be a trend? And I guess part of this will be what happens to the Islanders and the Golden Knights moving forward. Because if this, the Islanders are sitting out of a playoff spot actually right now.
Yeah,
They don't play until Thursday, I think.
and they've played more games,
and
than
they've played
most
more
of the
games
teams around them.
So but this also just might be then the Islanders saying, okay, we're trending downwards. We might not even make the playoffs. Even if we do, we might be first round exit. I don't want to lose Pete DeBoer.
Yeah.
I want Pete DeBoer. I'm going to go get Pete DeBoer. I'm going to give him a 4-year deal. This is the coach that I want moving forward. It's not Patrick Waugh. He's not my guy.
Right.
And this is the other thing too about recycled coaches versus a first-time coach. So don't forget, Cooper and Bednar were once first-time coaches.
They're both.
Cooper, I think, had a lot of cachet coming out of the minors because wasn't he that coach of that Norfolk team that had a 21, 22 game winning streak? Something like that.
They won a championship, I believe, as well that year.
Bednar, I got to admit, I don't know. I didn't know as much about him.
He was their American hockey coach
but obviously, he was on the way up. Knobloch, I guess we knew about in this city because of the McDavid connection. I don't know if you guys knew this. He played for the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
No way.
Yeah, his sort of university.
They're based in Edmonton.
University hockey. Yeah, it's in Edmonton. It's on the other side of the river, so people don't know as much about it.
Right.
He got fired from the Kootenay Ice because he interviewed for the Golden Bears' head coaching job.
Yes.
Because that got spoiled. That got out there, and I don't think the Ice knew about it.
Yeah,
I think that's the story.
He interviewed without telling them, or something happened like that.
And of course, somebody opened their mouth about it. So,
how about that?
And then he lost his job. So.
This is making more sense now.
And then he had a very short time as the interim coach, or not interim coach. He filled in on the bench for the Rangers
During COVID.
Yeah,
was it COVID because it was sick?
Yeah.
He came up from Hartford, but then he was an assistant in Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too. Okay, so whether it's the Oilers or whatever, your favorite team needs a coach. Do you want? Well, here's a guy with 1,300 games, but it's his sixth or seventh team, and he's never lasted more than 2.5 seasons, and he's had one deep playoff run.
Yeah.
Or do you want to try to hire the guy like, maybe this guy could be our coach for 8 years, who could be a Cooper, right? I mean, the Elks went through this as well. Yeah. What was it? Well, Rick Campbell, and then it was like, no, it's Mark Killam. And it was kind of like, not a fresh face to the CFL, but at least a new head coach, as opposed to like, I think, and now I know Campbell's with the organization. Like, I think if they would have hired Rick Campbell, that's a 3-year hire.
Yeah.
Whereas they're hoping Killam's an
10 years,
8 or 10 year hire. So anyway, that's a whole other offshoot to this. But DeBoer's a recycled, a successful one, but he's a recycled coach,
right? Who
probably won't be there for the length of that contract, though he may make the team better.
You're probably right. It is fascinating. That's the two things that cross my mind. What does it say about Patrick Waugh? And then is this hiring a coach and firing the other guy in the last 10 games of the season kind of a copycat thing, hoping for a bump, becoming strategy?
Yeah.
Which is odd. Now we'll see if it works. I don't know. I mean, the Golden Knights are, what are they, 3-0 with Tortorella?
Yeah. Was Edmonton not the only good team they beat?
Yes.
Though they played well. Like I said, they looked quicker to me.
Yeah.
But also, Hart had a good game. The Oilers, especially in the first period, probably should have had a couple.
Yeah. But that could have turned the tide. And Edmonton, I mean, a lot of people on the postgame show, and they said it actually against Chicago too. It's like they weren't trending in the right direction.
No, they weren't.
We talked about how sloppy they were, and maybe it was the right moment, and the Golden Knights were able to take advantage.
I think the Oilers going to clean up some details. And like we talked about the Chicago game.
Yeah.
They beat one of the worst offenses in the league. And we looked at the stat. Remember how many times did Chicago shoot wide?
Oh yeah.
Now that's
angles.
That's a mistake by Chicago. I mean, offensive players make mistakes too, but yeah. So how much of that was Vegas? How much of that was an off night by the Oilers? It's always a bit of both. Mm-hmm. But the Tortorella effect worries me a little bit. Like, what if he piques their interest? Like, what if they were worn down by Cassidy? I don't know if they're good enough to win the cup, but they're like we are in Edmonton. They're looking at the bracket of likely Anaheim, Edmonton, Vegas, and Utah.
Yes.
And thinking, well, why not us if we play 5% better?
As they should. It's fascinating.
Like that's such an interesting. It's likely going to be those 4 teams, I think.
Mm-hmm. It would take a lot for anything significantly to change.
Okay, so of those 4 teams, sorry, Matthew, if I can just take the show in a slightly different direction.
No, go for it.
Of those 4 teams, best offensive team.
Oilers.
Would you say the Oilers?
I'd say the Ducks would be right up there.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to give it to Edmonton, though.
Best defensive team?
Utah?
I don't know.
Utah's given up 218 goals this season. If you were using this, Vegas 240, Anaheim 271, Oilers 257. So by
By
a
stats,
significant margin,
Utah.
it's by 22 goals from the second next closest.
No,
team.
okay. So of those 4 teams, I'm not going to say best. I'm going to say most reliable goaltending. I mean, I would say Utah, but Vejmelka can't beat the Oilers for some reason.
He's got an awful. Was he
Is it-
1-5?
There's a
it
part of it that
Stahl?
says the stall that he'd be the guy.
Though Ingram's also been very good.
Yes.
Hart and Hill, do we know what we're going to get? Like,
They're having
it's
off.
not
if Hart,
Vegas.
but again, like Hart, all he needs to do is play well from now on.
Yeah. I think that one would have to go to Vejmelka or Dostal as of right now. And Ingram, aren't his averages still kind of shoddy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he's given them reliable enough goaltending where
Yep.
they've taken advantage and won.
Yeah, I mean, his stats wouldn't look good from the
No,
last game.
exactly.
I wouldn't say that was a goaltending loss. I mean, Hart was
No.
better, but I would also say Vegas was better overall.
Brain farts that led directly to goals.
Right. So that's, to me, that's going to be really interesting because the Oilers can win it, but
Yeah.
they could also stumble and be out in 5, if it just doesn't go their way.
I thought about this yesterday a bit. Did that loss make you? Because remember, with the 5-game winning streak, a lot of it's like they're back. I know everybody has wanted to say they're back, and that's the team that's going to go to the conference final. And who knows, maybe they make a cup run. Did that loss to Vegas, and even maybe parts of that Chicago game, remind us that this team still isn't as strong as the last 2?
No, I think I still knew that.
Yeah.
If anything, those 5 wins in a row made me a little more encouraged because they played more committed. They played more playoff style hockey, and they did it without Draisaitl. So, but yes, they're still a flawed team. They're still not as good as the last couple of. Well, I still think this could be the worst team. Is this going to be 6 years in a row in the playoffs or 7?
I think
Since
this is
2000,
7.
this would be 7.
Yeah.
This might be the worst team of all of them. Like maybe the pandemic shortened season,
Yeah.
a
think
56 game season.
The defense wasn't very good on that team.
No, and I mean, like I think, Devin
Sixth
Shore
year.
and Kara were still on that team, weren't they?
Slater Cuckoo and Ethan
Oh, yeah.
Bear,
This will be the 7th
Caleb
year playoffs.
Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but again, the little mini bracket they're going to be in to get to the Western Conference Final is very winnable. I heard you talking about that stat Sloaner sent you.
Swainer?
Or Swainer, sorry, jeez. Sorry, Swainer.
I'll read it. I'll read it just as a refresher because it was pretty good.
I guess I'm a bit of a Money City maniac, Matthew.
Great reference.
Thank you.
This was from Brian Swain on Saturday night. The fewest points to win a division in an 82-game season since the shootout was introduced is 94.
So that's 20 years, basically.
Yeah, so Panthers in 2011, 2012, and then the Capitals in 2007, 2008. Anaheim and Edmonton losing in regulation on Saturday. Both are now on pace to finish with 92.6 points.
And were those not in the 6th division format?
That was, that would have been in the Southeast Division,
Yeah.
which was very weak
So-
around that time.
So the more divisions there are, the more likely you're going to have a weaker team winning one. Just like
Yeah.
with 8 divisions in the NFL, sometimes you get a 9-8 team finishing first, or
Yes.
8-9 even. But yeah, it's a very flawed bracket for flawed teams, and somebody's going to emerge. So
Well,
that's
that's
why
fine.
Vegas makes the coaching change.
And the other part to that is you never know how beat up potentially those central teams and the damage they might do and inflict on each other.
Yeah.
You get to a conference finals, if you've had a little bit of an easier road, maybe it's not as
Yeah, you never
devastating
know.
to you. All of a sudden you're taking on an Avs or a Stars team or a Wild team that are beaten up.
But the interesting
Maybe it makes
thing,
it a little easier to deal with a battled and a worn down central team as opposed to having to see them in the first, second round.
That could happen.
and here's the thing.
And then all of a
just-
sudden you're in the cup final.
I'm just double checking the standings. The Jets are 3 out now, right? Yeah,
Yeah, except they've got a little too many teams to jump.
I know. But man, I'd love to see Jets Avalanche in the first round,
That would be
because
fascinating.
I think
too.
that would be a series that could, because it's kind of been like, well, if you finish first in the Central, which has been Colorado's edge all year, you'll get the softy in the first round. Usually the playoffs don't work out that way. And then especially to me, if it's the Jets, with Hellebuck and just their experience. And like sometimes that happens, right? The teams that win don't win in what is their peak regular season. I mean, don't forget the Panthers won the President's Trophy the year before they went to 3 consecutive Cup finals.
Right.
I
think they only
They're
had
a wild
93.
card team.
They only had 93 points last year.
Well, 2 years ago when they won, were they not like a wild card team?
No, when they
no, 'cause they
lost
had-
the Cup final. When they lost the Cup final, I believe
In the first year.
when Vegas beat them, when they upset Boston, I think they were 17th overall. I think that was the year Calgary was ahead of them
Okay.
in the overall standings, but missed the playoffs because
So
of
when
the
President's Cup final loss,
I believe
winners.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds about right.
right.
So with 6 to 7 games left, the Preds 81 points, Kings 81 points, Sharks they have the extra game. They're at 79 points, and then it's St. Louis 78, Winnipeg 78. Seattle we could put out of this probably. Calgary we could put out of this probably.
Yeah.
And Utah sits 5 points up on them, so they're sitting pretty nice
Right.
when it comes to joining the Pacific. But like, hey, it'd be cool to see some, like if the Sharks could make a way to get into the playoffs, awesome. But also one of those, you make the playoffs, congratulations. Here are the Colorado Avalanche, who, did they lose yesterday to the Blues? I think they did.
Yes, they did.
Weren't they up in that game?
Well, they played the
let it
night
slip
before
away?
against Dallas. They won that game 2-zip. 3-2.
Yeah, they were up
yesterday in
2-1 at one point. And then
Yeah,
let
so
that
in
one slip away.
21-22, the Panthers went 58, 18, and 6 for 122 points. Were swept in the second round by the Lightning. Then the next year, they had 92 points, lost the Cup final to Vegas. Then the first year they beat the Oilers, they had 110 points,
Yeah.
and then last year had 98.
98 points, not 93. Sorry.
And was Maurice the coach or was Brunette still the coach? I think Brunette was the coach in 21-22.
Yeah, because
When they won
Maurice
the
left the
President's Trophy.
Jets.
So Quenneville was
Mid-season.
fired October 28th. Brunette coached the rest of the year, and they won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of Brunette and brought in Maurice.
Yeah.
And they made the trade that summer too, right? Huberdeau
For
Kachuk.
yeah. That was 23.
Yes,
Yeah.
the trade would have been in the summer of 22.
Yeah, sorry. That's right.
It's all meshing together.
It
All
really
those years,
is.
kind of.
What a cluster.
I was talking with Huss in the lock shop, I think 2 weeks ago, and we are talking about the idea of maybe the Oilers Kings again in the first round. And he's like, isn't this going to be like the 5th year? I was like, no, it'd only be the 4th. There's only been 3. And I completely forgot about when it was because it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
But I've somehow, for like the 4 years, somehow, for some reason, I'm only thinking it's 3 or whatever, just 'cause we've seen it so much. It does seem unlikely now that we'll see it, but it's still there. It's still possible. Can
Yeah,
the
it's
LA
unlikely,
Kings,
though.
Can the LA Kings catch the Utah Mammoth?
Yeah, that's pretty unlikely.
And the Oilers win the Pacific Division, and we get Oilers and Kings once again.
No.
Well,
I
the-
actually
yeah.
don't care.
Well, I mean, the
don't
Oilers
mind
are
it.
first right now,
Yeah.
right?
That's because the Ducks are.
The regulation.
Well, the Ducks are struggling. Like they're not winning those games, and they had games that you would look on the schedule and say these are winnable hockey games, and they
Yeah.
haven't been able to get it done. They blow it to the Maple Leafs. They give up, a minute 36 or whatever seconds left, up a goal on San Jose. Don't even get to overtime. Lose 2 points. Flames are playing better hockey as of late, but if you're trying to win the Pacific, trying to, plus playoff team, you lose points to them.
Right.
Ducks are just slipping right now.
And this is how, this is how I think the NHL or Bettman would spin. Well, we don't need a 3-2-1 point system because regulation wins is the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So
And look at all the parity in the races that are coming down to the wire.
Yeah, we
Right.
talked about how many teams are in the race in
Yeah.
the West. If
That
we
was
look
the
out
goal.
east, there's a bunch of them.
yeah, there's
the
still
race.
teams with hope.
That was the goal all along.
Yeah. So now we're in the final week and a half. So there are some teams that it's virtually hopeless.
Yeah.
But even Winnipeg was 11 points out. They've been within 1. I don't think they've ever been in the spot. There's still 3 back. They still have a chance. But that's, I think there should be a 3-2-1 point system, but the NHL would just say, well, we made regulation wins the tiebreaker. So it's still more, that's how it's more valuable to win in regulation. We don't need to give out 3 points. It's just if you're tied with somebody and you're better in regulation, you'll get in.
It's fascinating seeing how many people clamor for the 1-8 system. When I remember when that was changed in what was it, the 2005, 2006, coming out of the lockout, how people were so tired of it and said it was flawed. Like, it just feels like there's always going to be complaints. You're never going to satisfy anybody.
Well, because
everybody.
The division champions
would get
still
first, second,
got the
third.
first, second, and third seed.
Right, but that was
And
to
then you
entice-
filled out 5 through 8.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but
you
that
could
was
still have a weird matchup.
that was the reward for winning your division.
But and the NBA used to do that, and then the NBA solved that by going, the 3 divisions will get playoff seed, but I can't remember how it fully went. But like, if the 4th seed was better than the 3rd seed,
Yeah,
they
I
drop
think they
them down.
seed them. Yeah.
They'd have no problem being like, okay, well, you're not as good as, like, this 4th
Right.
seed is better. They deserve a little bit of a better matchup.
Right.
So they found a little bit of a way to get around that. I didn't mind it still, even if it happens. There's some. It's like there's a reward for winning your division,
Right.
even if it's in a bad year.
Honestly-
But then you put the next number of 4 through 8.
Yeah.
Next 5 best teams, and it
Yeah.
gets seeded based on how well did you do this season.
I don't mind how it is now. Like, deal with it. Oh, we're gonna see the same team in the playoffs for the 5th straight year. I don't care. That's
Yeah.
just how it worked out.
But that's
So what?
also, but again, that's also what Bettman wants.
Yes.
Yes.
He wants
They
rivalries.
said that from the beginning.
Yeah, they want rivalries. They think that sells better than, we played 7 different teams in the 7 years we lost in the first round.
Well, for a
You're
while,
like-
they were playing the same interdivisional game like 8 times. I remember Edmonton, or was it 6 or 8?
in the 80s, but yeah, then even early 2000s,
Yes.
they went to 8 for a couple of years.
Yes, and it was too much.
It was too much, and then because like Pittsburgh wasn't going to every
Yeah, they
city.
tried to get to a point where it was you'd play every team once,
Yes.
but it wasn't. You weren't guaranteed a
twice.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Crosby and Ovi didn't always roll
There
through
were
all
years,
cities.
yeah.
Right. I remember, what was it, like 2011, 2012? Edmonton played Minnesota 6 times in the first 36 games of the season.
Right.
And we were there once in the preseason, and they were here once in the preseason. So it was 8 out of like the first 40 Oilers games.
Right.
Something stupid like that. Where I'm like, man, we're back in Minnesota again.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But now I wonder if the NHL is just going to push off playoff changes until they finish their expansions. Or, the
point.
expansions.
When it's going to 84 games next year.
84 games next year.
Right.
The goal is, I think they want 36 teams eventually here.
Right.
Yeah.
Then
So
do you think
then
they'd
how you-
expand the playoffs to 20? They'd have a play-in round?
I don't, based off a lot of the reportings out there, it'll never happen until Bettman's gone.
Bettman doesn't want that to happen.
Once Bettman's gone and Bill Daly
Then
takes
everything's
over,
on.
they're going to
everything's
go,
back on
we'll
the
add the
table.
play in. You figure that out however it is. How do the divisions change if you go to 36?
Right.
Do we go back to 3 divisions type thing?
Right. And at what point does it become impractical to play every team twice in a year?
Right. Good point.
36, so 35 teams.
So that's 70
games
70
right
games
there,
right there.
playing everyone twice. So you have 14 games left.
So just everybody in your division, 2 extra times? Though the divisions would have 9 now, not 8.
Yeah, you don't even have enough games left to play everyone in your conference just one more time.
Yeah.
So they might have to.
So yeah, you play everyone twice, and then you play your division. The rest, they fill out the rest of the schedule with just your division.
Yeah. And even that wouldn't be everybody 4 times. Some would be only 3.
Yeah, which like in the UCFL they used to have it, or it still happens. Even you see certain teams a couple more than
Sure.
the other teams. So that's the way you'd have to go.
But that's to me, that's just incredible that there could be 36 teams in the National Hockey League.
Wow.
I mean, it's getting it's getting to the point where, based on the law of averages, you will be fortunate if you're a lifelong fan of a team. You will be lucky to see them win 3 times, win the cup. Now, usually doesn't work out that way because dominant teams can usually win a couple.
Yeah.
But the Leafs won't win, so you could take them out of the question.
Good shot.
So now we're down to 35 teams left.
Yeah.
And the Canucks won't win, so we're down to 34 teams.
Excellent shot as well.
There we go.
But it's and the root of it all is straight up greed. It is straight up greed. It is just these owners wanting to make money.
Yeah.
They want that huge expansion check that they get that the players can't touch because it's not part of the HRR.
Well, and the NHL owners look at it and go, we are in X amount of markets that the NBA, MLB, and NFL are in.
Yeah.
We may have the same amount of teams, but we have more Canadian teams. So we're filling out our American market to match those other leagues.
So so the NHL is the only one in Columbus,
Outside of the MLS.
and Ohio State's in Columbus, right?
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. Well, okay. I guess I'm not counting MLS. Though
Yeah,
I know
no,
it's
no,
pretty
I
big.
know.
It's
No,
pretty
if we
big
leave
in
it
a
to
lot
the
of
big
markets,
four.
but
Big, yeah.
the big four. So the NHL is the only one in Columbus.
Yeah.
The NHL for
San
a
Jose.
couple of years was the only one in Vegas,
Yeah.
but now there's going to be,
Raiders, A's, and
the NBA is going to go there, aren't they?
yeah.
Tampa is just the Bucks. Oh, the Rays. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that they all have almost everything. Trying to think
Like where they're not.
where the NHL is
San
is
Jose.
by itself. Though I almost include San Francisco and
Well,
Oakland as
yeah,
part of that.
you should.
Like
yeah.
Santa Clara's right there for the
That's
49ers
right.
at the very least.
I think the Niners play closer to San Jose than they do to San
They
Francisco
do.
now.
I've
So
been
it's
on that
all
train
one
ride.
big metropolitan area, as they
Well,
like
it's
to say.
it's
Tom.
the big like loop
right, sort of a Bay Area there.
horseshoe. You could call it the Bay Area, something like that. Yeah.
They don't play in Houston right now.
That's the big because isn't the Houston the fourth biggest city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Phoenix,
States?
They don't play in Phoenix anymore.
which is also one of the biggest.
They don't play in Portland.
And Atlanta. Portland's not that big though.
No.
Yeah.
Then there's only, is that just NBA? Because there's no baseball and there's no football.
Correct.
I believe Portland really is. Would it not be the smallest city in the NBA by a wide margin?
I think there's a couple million
Memphis?
people there.
How big's Memphis? I don't know.
Milwaukee. I don't know. But I mean, Portland's weird. NBA and Western Hockey League.
And they
And
love
and
MLS. I think
And
that
they're
MLS
huge
team
in
is quite
MLS,
popular.
yeah.
I've been to one of those games. They're awesome.
The Timbers.
Timbers, yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City has everything. Well, they don't have basketball.
Yeah, they have the Royals and they have the Chiefs.
St. Louis.
And which team is it that plays on the Missouri side? They're the Chiefs in.
the facilities are right beside each other.
Well, the Chiefs are the Chiefs
Yeah.
moving to Missouri or
They're moving
or to Kansas.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Who else would there be potentially?
Portland's-
Well, Atlanta's another one too.
Yeah.
You're not in Atlanta. So like I would say Houston, Phoenix, Atlanta, and then are three major
So
U.S. markets.
they'll probably go Houston,
and New Orleans.
Atlanta,
New Orleans is two of
Kansas
them.
City.
I don't think Kansas City would.
Are they really going to try to go Phoenix again? I guess the
Yes, they are.
franchise is there.
Phoenix, Houston, Atlanta, and then open for who that? Maybe New Orleans has been floated. The mayor a while ago said that he had talked to the NHL, so the NHL did.
So
look
New
at them.
Orleans has
basketball and football.
basketball and football.
So
Are they still the Pelicans?
Yes.
Is that the team that was the Charlotte?
Hornets moved theirs. New Orleans Hornets. It was the Charlotte Bobcats when the Bobcats got an expansion team, and then the Hornets dropped their name to be the Pelicans.
And
so
now
then
they're the
Charlotte took over
Hornets
the
again.
Hornets again.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, so Portland's metro population 2.5 million.
It's that big?
Yeah.
I did not think Portland was
It's-
that big.
it's a
I
fun
apologize
city.
to all the Portlandites out there.
And the metro population of Vegas is actually 2.2 million now. So Portland's bigger than
interesting.
Vegas.
I'm stunned. I didn't know Portland was anywhere near that big. I feel foolish.
Great city. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I honestly I would have predicted Portland was like 800,000. I'm crazy.
No, I'm counting metro. Like Edmonton's metro is like 1.5 million, where the
Right.
city's just over a million.
Yeah.
Metro is like in and around.
Well, and that's why you got to
What
look
is
up.
the metro for Portland though?
2.5.
No, like what includes it?
It's like Vancouver and one other bedroom community, as they say.
Okay.
Like Vegas has Henderson, Summerlin.
But Vegas doesn't have
yeah.
as much.
Green
as-
Valley
Their
Ranch.
city's 650,
Yeah.
so it shoots up. Oh,
Bless
one of
you.
the metro.
Well,
forts.
like, bless you. Like, look up Toronto. Toronto proper compared to Toronto Metro is like vastly different. Most people live outside of Toronto proper.
Right, but I think Toronto itself is still over a couple million, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the Metro is
But the
somewhere
GTA
around
is like
6.
7 or 8 million.
Yeah,
Especially if you go all the way like to Pickering and Ajax.
Yes,
Which is almost an hour out, but still.
Yeah, the Portland Metro though is like massive, like based on land. Like that is a huge area that it encompasses.
Yeah, but those people are there. Like it's.
Would they go to NHL?
I think so. They go to WHL. Someone told me that in Portland they don't really care what league their teams are in, as long as the teams are good and they're fun to go to the games.
Okay.
They get behind them.
Here's the thing,
kind of
though.
that hippie culture type of thing. That's where they were. It's straight up. Like they went up to
Right.
Oregon.
The owner of the Trailblazers is the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Would he want an NHL team in his market?
Great. Yeah, that's right. Tom Dundon just bought them.
Would that be?
Oh,
would they
right.
not want to go there because Tom would sit there like, no, I don't want that. A team is here that I'll have to compete against
Yeah.
in the NBA.
And
I'm owner of
okay.
that team. Or would he drop the Hurricanes to pick that team up and somebody else takes the Hurricanes from him type thing? That would be a very interesting politics that would have to play within the NHL. Would you go there to try to piss off where you might because you're now competing with him for dollars in
Yeah.
a different sport?
I feel like I haven't heard much about the NHL in Portland, though.
No.
And I feel like the NHL is saying, okay, we put something in Seattle.
Yeah.
So now we have Vancouver and Seattle.
Yeah.
We have 3 teams in California, Utah and Vegas, and Colorado are in that little.
I don't think
Area.
they're on the radar that much. They might be used like a red herring, like Quebec City is.
The 3 big ones, like Atlanta and Houston, are, I think, the front runners.
Yeah.
For the first one. Round.
Arizona's still in
Arizona
the
would be
mix.
there, but the owner of the Sun says he's not interested right now. I think I saw that last week. And then you're looking for where that fourth one
Second
would go.
team in Toronto, baby. Let's finally do it.
If you're looking at for the business of the NHL, that would be the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
It wouldn't, but there's a lot of people that live in Toronto that are not Leafs fans that come from other parts of this country and give them their own
Exactly.
team.
That was Onright and I used to discuss this all the time, but about 20, 25 years ago when it maybe seemed more viable, right? Because there was the Hamilton talk.
Yeah.
And there was not just Jay, but other people who were like, just put another team in the Air Canada Center, as it was called at the time, because the tickets would probably be cheaper because they're not the Leafs. And a lot of Leafs fans were sick of their team not winning, so they might get excited about another team. And as you were saying, the amount of people in Toronto who aren't from Toronto and deep down hate the Leafs. So maybe you grew up in northern Alberta.
Yeah.
You cheer for the Oilers. Somehow you wind up in Toronto. You're still trying to follow the Oilers, but everybody around you is Leafs fans. So you're sort of getting not sympathetic, but you're sort of like, okay, well, everybody at work cheers for the Leafs. I don't want them to suffer all the time, but deep down you hate them. And then all of a sudden,
I want to get a 10-game pack to go to the NHL, and I don't want the Leafs.
the Toronto, the Toronto Lakers in the league.
You know
and you're
who
like,
you
you know
just
what? I'm going to
described?
cheer for the other Toronto team.
Fearless Fred.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's Fearless Fred. He's a huge Oilers fan from Northside Edmonton. Wears his Buckburger jersey to every Oilers Leafs game when he's at Leafs games.
Right.
But he has to sympathize with Leafs fans because
Yeah.
he's been in the market for like 12
Yeah.
years.
Logistically, just in the NHL, I don't think you could share a building because how do you change the ice?
That's right.
The logos?
Yeah.
You don't have them.
And that, I don't think the Leafs would ever.
Yeah.
Like that'd be the only thing I'd say.
I don't know.
I'd have to go look because MSG, I think for the first time, or like only like maybe it's the third time in history, they had 2 hockey games in a day. It might have been, I don't know what
Was
the
it the
second game
Frozen
was,
Four?
but the Rangers were playing and then someone else. But like the Oil Kings Oilers split a barn, but you've got Oilers ice.
Right.
That's where it's like you would need a second location for that. But that other advantage for that team too would be the Leafs are so expensive. We're not that pricing. We're average NHL pricing.
That was the Clippers at
You're right.
Staples Center.
Yeah.
And come to us, even if it's too expensive to go to a Leafs game, but you want to take your kid, you're not taking them to a Leafs game, come to us.
Now also Buffalo would, if they would put a
They'd be
team in
upset.
Hamilton because it's a little closer to Buffalo.
But even Buffalo draws from Ontario.
That's what I'm saying. So Buffalo
Yeah.
would be upset
They'd
with
be
another
upset.
team in the
Absolutely.
GTA.
But then your NHL Canadian TV contract would be bigger, possibly.
Yeah. How about that, everybody? 2 Toronto teams on a hockey night in Canada.
Gross.
The fact that you doubleheader Leafs.
Yeah, the other
We'll
team
just
would play its teams at 10 Eastern so they could get another home game. Oh.
No thanks.
But if you're talking about the business, it would be for the NHL. That would be the most ideal spot, I would say, for an expansion.
Yeah, would they go back to Quebec City?
No, never.
Never.
There's issues with Winnipeg already. I remember when the league was here for the Heritage Classic, I went with some of their staff for dinner after the game, and they were worried about Winnipeg.
The story has already started coming out that with the cap going up, it's going to be looking not at how high it's going, but can teams afford the floor again?
Yep.
Oh.
And the Jets are one of those teams that they're concerned about because you already had a small barn. The Canadian dollar is
Not strong.
not strong, and that's what's going to happen there.
Yeah. Well, I know that
Even though they have a very rich owner.
Yeah, he's the richest man in Canada, isn't he? Like David
He's up there.
Thompson?
Yeah, he's up there.
27, 30 billion, something like that. But it has to be sustainable business. And if they're sucking into revenue sharing and being pumped up, that's not good. Yeah, they were. I remember them being very concerned about Winnipeg, knowing full well that the owners got super deep pockets, but it just wasn't sustainable business wise. And then remember they had that rally and cry for people to go to games, and I think they lowered ticket prices a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I remember us talking.
Wasn't it
about
last year around this time Bettman rolled through there too and sort of
Have to calm the waters.
Yeah, but they were like, "Oh no, it's not. He's just coming through anyway." But it's kind of like, well, yeah, but
Has he come through this year? No. Have we seen him here? No. Right?
Bettman?
Yeah.
In Edmonton?
This year, yeah. Did he come through this year?
He was in Calgary, but that was
thought he was just here.
to see the rink.
Maybe not.
Usually he hits every.
He tries to go everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him here, so. Yeah, it's.
Well, if Winnipeg left again, that'd be awful.
I don't think they're gonna leave. It's just you got to find the sweet spot, like Matty said. If they're gonna be concerned about teams hitting the floor,
Yeah.
or just making the cap floor, that's
Right.
concerning.
But it tells how much money is in that marketplace to
Yeah.
spend. And if ticket pricing in this world are just going up with sporting events,
Yeah,
at least in North America, can they keep affording it? It's like I'd have to double check all this with us, but I remember him talking about one of the reasons the Jets struggled the last little bit was they spent so much on the playoff runs that they had that it almost bankrupted the city. Like
Where was this?
In Winnipeg.
Oh, in
That they
Winnipeg.
spent so much on those that it's like at some point it's like, well, we just can't go to these games because we spent so much on the playoff runs. We don't have the money now.
Yeah.
So they're having to save up to get ready for more runs and things like that. So
funny you bring that up because a text came in and just said, "Well, then Edmonton needs a second team just for the cheaper tickets." That's in jest, obviously.
well, no, but like it is fascinating that you look at soccer teams and how many professional clubs there are in European cities. Like Edmonton and Manchester aren't too dissimilar. Like there's a lot of similarities between the two. They've got two major Premier League clubs that they sell out, have people going to. Now, the flip side is I don't know how many other sporting of teams that they have. So I don't know if they have like that next team, like we'd have the Elks or we'd have the Oil Kings and all that. I don't know how many other sporting clubs are there. But like Liverpool has two major clubs. They have Everton and they have Liverpool.
Right.
Could Edmonton support a second NHL team? In theory, like you'd have to have a second rink. You'd have to do
Right.
like, it's very different from the NBA. You could just take the court out, put a new court on.
Yeah.
Hockey, like Avery saying, just put two logos at center ice. One team's not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, that doesn't sit
Like
well.
the Leafs are not going to
the
sit there like
older
you're in
team.
our barn.
Yeah.
You're not. We're not putting your logo when we're playing games.
That's
Screw
right.
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
No. I remember when they were getting the plans in place for Rogers Place and they finally unveiled the seating capacity. I had friends who were diehard Oiler fans being like, why don't they just build a 25,000 seat arena so everybody can go and it'll be full all the time? And I'm like, yeah, and I understand the premise of that, but that's not the goal. You need demand.
Right.
And you need to charge a premium.
Yeah.
And that's why they ended up, I think it was supposed to be like 18,600, but they had some seat kills with camera places and handicap seating and stuff like that, where it reduced it by a couple hundred more.
You also have to have good viewing. You know, we've all been to the outdoor games at Commonwealth. The higher up you go and stuff, the further away from the action you are, the harder it is to see.
Yeah. I watched that entire game on TV.
Oh, yeah?
So Rob and I did.
Oh, right. Yes.
Rob and I did the face-off show from next to the rink. It was incredible. Like sitting on the field at Commonwealth Stadium, watching the stadium fill up.
Yep.
We're right by the boards. Like they came out. We're right there for the Oilers warm up. It was. I wasn't wearing a jacket. I think I had a sweater on. Bettman came like with 3 minutes left in the show. I did a quick interview with him. And then it's like starting to get a little colder, and we couldn't stay there because they were the NHL was very much like
tight.
No extra people. If you're going to be there, you have to wear black, like Jack and Bob. So it was like Jack and Bob, I think the American guys, and Cuthbert and Simpson right by the glass. So then we didn't have a spot in the Bryan Hall Media Center. Because it was filled up with everybody, all technical people, and NHL radio might have called it from up there.
Yeah.
So I watched the Heritage Classic on TV in the field house.
I remember that was a great setup, but it was so far away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say who, but there were a couple of people that pushed their weight around and got seats in the Bryan Hall Media Center that probably shouldn't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we got pushed outside into the auxiliary, but
they were better.
We were just outside, so we were outside getting to experience the atmosphere.
Where were you guys?
Right below it.
Literally, they put up a row of tables.
Do you know the landing right below the press box?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's where they set us up.
It was
yeah, okay.
fantastic.
So we're outside, like inside that media center, you can't feel the atmosphere, you can't feel all that.
No.
So we got to be out there. So that was cool. But like that's the thing with 25,000 seat stadium, you build higher or you build further out, and it's harder to see. And if anyone wants to watch, go on Twitter tonight during the March Madness championship game tonight, and you'll see a lot of people complaining about.
Well, that's
They're putting
football stadium. That's crazy,
right?
Yeah.
But they're putting, and then they used to put they use half the football stadium used to. Now they use the full football stadium. So if you're high up, like you're not watching that ball.
Just because you want to be there.
You're just there at that point, and that's the thing. If you get to 25, you could build bigger, but it's so you got to keep. You're going to go up and further away, and you're not going to see it as much.
Yeah,
that'd be the tough part of all of that. So yeah, they probably could. I don't know if it's all also would be based on ticketing pricing. If you had 25,000 seats, well, maybe the Oilers would have to have 5,000 affordable seats.
Yeah.
To get out there, but again, you'd be further back.
I just remember too that.
Sorry, quick, but then you also have to have
okay.
the bathrooms, you have to have the concession ready to go, all that, which adds more space.
I just remember then too. So the Oilers won that game, 5-1 or 5-2. It was a pretty handy victory, and then so much of overtime open line, or there was a portion of it, turned into people calling in and complaining about the game being on a Sunday, because wasn't it Sunday at 5 or Sunday at 4?
Yeah,
and like I was just like, well. You're just speculating at that point, but why not have it Saturday? I'm like, well, they need it outside of Hockey Night in Canada, right? So yeah, could have it started at 2 or earlier? Yes, because some people are like, I'm driving back to Grand Prairie, and I was like, well, sorry, but like the NHL is not going to put that on as a Hockey Night in Canada game. They want it as as an extra event when it's not going to overshadow everything else happening on a Saturday.
Sometimes I am fascinated by some people in this marketplace. Like, you imagine if the NHL was like MLB and you had 2 to 3 matinees throughout the year on a weekday.
Yeah.
How much complaining we would hear from certain people of just, why is this at 1:00 at work? I can't go to this game. And yet you see you go watch baseball, you watch even some NHL, like they'll be full, they'll be there. I wonder if I'd be curious if they even have the complaining down there. But I remember the Kevin Lowe retirement night. The ceremony for him was early.
Yep.
It was like 5 or something.
Yep.
And I remember seeing just so many complaints. I
Yeah.
can't there, I got to work. Can't get there, I got to work. We work hard, I guess, in Edmonton.
Well, I mean,
and
the
area.
start, just like when we have the 8:00 games and playoffs are coming, we're going to have 8:20 face-offs in the first round. Then it gets a little more
What if it's
normal.
Edmonton, Utah?
That'd be perfect. Well, they'd still
No,
bump it
it'll
back.
be an 8:00 game.
You sure we won't get 7:30s or a little bit early?
I hope
Not
we
in the
do,
first
but
round,
They always bump it back.
because there'll be Eastern games at 5 or 5:30.
Right, but there's no, You're not playing in LA. You're not doing the Pacific. Nah, maybe I'm just being
It doesn't
hopeful.
matter. Our home games were still at 8
Yeah.
in the first couple rounds.
It's true. I'm just being hopeful. Maybe they do 7:30. Portions of this hour of the Hangout brought to you by the High Product Marketing official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out at highproductmarketing.com. Reid Wilkins from the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Tom Gazzola, Iwanyk with you here. Lock Shop coming up at 11. Huss and Jay. Oil Stream with Tommy and Trav. EST Afternoons, myself, Gager, Benny, and then Reid, Jay, and Benny coming up from 3 until 6 with the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. That's all coming up here on Edmonton Sports Stock. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. As I said, portions of this hour brought to you by the High Product Marketing. Connect with Chelsea or Brett with the Hive for any of the promotional needs that you may need, whether it's for yourself, for your business, for an event, whatever it is, connect with them. Would you like to get into movie trivia?
I'd like a card of trivia. So Jay has them organized. So the top card has not been asked. The
So
cards
for those
are double
that aren't
sided.
aware, that aren't paying attention to the Reid Wilkins Show, one, why aren't you?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Two,
I love trivia.
you got
I love
a movie trivia question box.
So that's Mom got that for Christmas.
Okay.
Got me that for Christmas. So I bought it. I brought it in.
Okay, and we also have the
And then since
Canadian.
then and she got the Canadian trivia.
That one's good.
That's a good one. And then I ordered a couple other movie trivia, one book and one box that we haven't opened yet.
I like that there's a scorecard that never gets
So
used.
Jay has a very, so don't mess up Jay's
I took
filing
top
system.
and I'll put it at the
And
bottom.
you put it at the bottom, and
Yeah.
it's a double-sided card.
So there's 4 questions per side. 2 weeks ago, actually,
in
Reid
your
came into my
office.
office.
Yes.
He came in, he nailed 7 of 8, or was it 8 of 8?
No, I got 8 out of 8 on
8
the
of
first
8.
card.
Second card, he won 1 of 8.
Yeah.
Rough. So he had to do a third one, and then you did
I
pretty
got
well.
7 on that one.
Yeah, we got
so
7
overall,
on
I
that
went 16 for 24. Now, generally, if it's an animated film or a kid's movie, I'm generally hopeless. I may phone a friend, which would be Tom.
All right.
So there's
Yeah.
4 categories on each card. They're the same category. So it'll start with animation or comedy, and it's adventure, action, then musical drama, then horror. Sci-fi.
Well, I didn't realize there were categories. Jay
Yeah.
just always reads them to me. Okay.
That's what they are.
So the first one I would struggle with the most,
Which is animation comedy.
Animation comedy.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
So it's just straight up you, or
Yeah,
are
I'm
we a
sorry,
team?
Tom. You can't
Okay,
participate.
that's fine.
You can help.
On your show.
Sure, I will.
Well, then I lose
That's
a
fine.
point.
Who was the original Nutty Professor?
Jerry Lewis.
Nailed it.
Wow.
What does pilot Deakins steal from the government in Broken Arrow?
A stealth bomber. No.
What does pilot Deakins steal from the government in a Broken Arrow?
Yeah, I'll say a stealth bomber.
That's a tough one. I think it's 0.5. What's in it?
If you're
Oh,
feeling
nuclear weapons?
Thank you.
Okay, then I
It's
didn't
nuclear
get it
weapons.
right.
Well,
Yeah,
stealth
yeah.
bomber is a
No,
we know that
that's
they
wrong.
carry nuclear. Okay.
Wasn't that with Christian Slater and Howie Long?
I don't remember that movie.
I think Howie Long might
Howie
have been
Long.
in Broken Arrow. Yeah. I think
What-
it was Slater.
What computer company does Forrest Gump invest in?
Oh,
Oh,
this one I know.
jeez.
You do?
Yeah.
Apple.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Just
Who
it was on
directed
yesterday.
the 2022 horror film Nope, which deals with strange phenomena happening on a California horse ranch?
Jordan Peele.
Not a good movie.
It's
No?
actually not that good.
Not a good
My
movie.
dad and I went to that. My dad still brings it up as
Yeah.
how much he hated it.
You know
he
what?
tried to do too much with it. Like,
It was, yeah, and there's too many like underlying themes.
yeah.
Nope to Nope. But the other one was really good that he did before that.
He did Get Out, and then he
Get
did
Out
Us.
was great.
Us is still pretty good, but I
haven't
feel
seen
like
Us.
Peele is going to make interesting movies
Yeah.
for the next 20 years. But then when we look back, we're going to say, well, Get Out was still the best.
Oh, Get Out was fantastic.
Okay, so 3 out of 4 on
third
side
of 4.
1. Not bad.
Side 2. In what movie does Dustin Hoffman play a man playing a woman?
Tootsie.
Correct. Who plays Simon Templar in the 97 film The Saint?
Kilmer.
Correct. In what movie do Annette Bening and Julianne Moore play a lesbian couple?
The Kids Are All Right.
Correct. What is Hannibal Lecter's profession before being incarcerated?
Oh, what was his actual profession?
I have
was
not
he
seen that movie.
Was he a psychologist?
No.
I don't actually know. Was he a therapist of some sort?
Janitor?
Oh, forensics psychiatrist.
Forensic psychiatrist. Okay. Well, 6 out of 8 is not bad.
That's, yeah. That's pretty good.
Jeez.
Would you like another one?
Right now?
Yes.
Or at the end of the show? Okay, right now.
now.
And then
We'll
we're
do
going to
one
talk
more.
about PHM.
Yes. PHM was great.
What is the full name of the first South Park movie?
South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
And uncut.
And Uncut.
Does that count?
Because he didn't get and?
I don't know. They're counting that.
Count it.
Okay. Sorry, I just got to switch this slide here. What is the name of the secret civilization in the Black Panther movies?
Oh. I know that one.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Wakandans. Wakanda, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was...
What is the name of the
crap.
secret civilization?
I thought it was that other group of people.
The one in the water?
Of course I knew it was Wakanda.
Yeah.
No, there was that other... the other group of Wakandans in the first movie. Crap, I should have just said the obvious one.
Who
Shame
directed
on
the
me.
Royal Tenenbaums? Well, you should always try to guess something.
Tenenbaums is Anderson, Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
In what 70s movies? In what 70s movie are Earth's last survivors required to die by the age of 30? In what 70s movie are Earth's last survivors required to die by the age of 30?
By the age of 30. Now, I don't think it's Soylent Green because I think they were allowed to live longer than that. I'm going to say the Omega Man.
Logan's Run.
Oh, crap. That's what I was thinking of. Oh!
This is how what Reid happens when he gets one wrong. Who directed Blazing Saddles?
Mel Brooks.
Released in 2023, what is the fifth installment in the Indiana Jones series called?
Indiana Jones on the Dial of Destiny.
Justin Timberlake plays the co-founder of what company in The Social Network?
Facebook.
No.
Meta.
No.
Oh, what company was it?
Justin Timberlake plays the co-founder of
it's,
what company in The Social
I
Network?
don't know.
MySpace.
No.
Oh.
It's Napster.
Napster.
Oh,
Shit.
really? Okay.
He joined them
Watch my
because Jesse Eisenberg played Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay. And isn't he the one where it's like, don't call it the Facebook, just Facebook?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. It's as he's walking away from the dinner.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah,
what about
what it
just Facebook?
It's cleaner.
That's right. Napster.
What post-apocalyptic Terry Gilliam film, I think it's Gilliam, sees a convict being sent back in time to gather info about
12
a
monkeys.
killer virus? Correct.
So what do I get, 5 out of 8?
One. Well, you South Park, yes. Wes, yes. So you got 2 on the front. Mel Brooks, Dial, 12 Monkeys. Yeah.
What's the Wes Anderson movie, the hotel one? What's it called? The Budapest.
The Grand
Budapest?
Budapest Hotel.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
didn't
one.
enjoy that one.
You didn't?
No.
I thought it was funny. It was clever.
Hey, thanks, Matthew. God, I love some movie
Good
trivia.
work.
The official drink of the EST Hangout. Hey, it's a great thing to have maybe while you're watching a movie. Dylan Small Batch Distilleries, refreshing cocktails made by the #1 canned cocktail brand, made the right way, crafted right here in Canada.
Really disappointed I didn't get Logan's Run. Really disappointed.
I'm surprised
I've
Napster
seen
wasn't
that.
guessed.
I believe was I think Michael York was in Logan's Run, and Heston might have been in the Omega Man. I don't know. Somebody will email me.
Have you seen Project Hail Mary in theaters yet?
Yes, I did. I went
right.
Friday night, Matthew.
And you've seen it on Friday night.
Saw it on Friday afternoon. Yeah.
Oh, Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
Did you go by yourself?
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Good on you. I love going to movies by myself.
It was great. I walked right across the street.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah. I like that theater.
It was a hidden gem.
I saw it on Saturday night. We can't get into spoilers. Like, we got to
No.
be careful with that, all that stuff here. But what'd you guys make of that one then?
Loved
Because
it.
it's highly regarded right now.
Loved it.
95% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I thought it was
quite
phenomenal. Reid and Hernan were talking about the book because you gave the book to Hernan, right?
No, I read the book and then he read it.
Oh, then
as
he
well.
read it?
Because I read it on my iPad out of the library.
And I kind of listened to you guys, and then you showed me the trailer, and I saw it. I'm like, okay, what is this? And you explained the premise to me, and I had listened to you guys talk about it. And then I watched the trailer a couple times. I'm like, I think this is a movie I'm going to love. Then I went and saw it on Friday. It met all my expectation, and I just leave it at that. And I've been like, there've been thoughts like where it's in my mind, and I'm like, what about this? What about? I wonder what happens here and there. I thought it was just from start to finish a fantastic movie. It has some highs, has some lows, some sad spots, some really happy and funny spots. I loved it through and through.
Good amount of humor.
Yeah.
It's, I saw the trailer for the first time back in January. No clue what it was. And so I didn't know if I'd like it or not.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know what this is. Didn't read the book. Kind of stayed away listening to you and Hernan because didn't want to get anything. Just I want to go in kind of as raw as I could. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was a solid movie. I know some people are saying maybe one of the best sci-fis there ever was. It's just like it's one I will go rewatch multiple times, I think, in my life. I do want to watch it again to pick up on certain things.
Same.
But I really enjoyed it. Now, as somebody who read the book, did it do
I thought it was
justice?
wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's science fiction and it's comedy. Mm-hmm. I guess if you were to choose big genres, but as I've said about the book, and the movie does this very well, it's a story about a friendship, sort of an unlikely friendship, but a very important and mutually supportive and warm friendship. The movie tells that story. Is that
humor in that book?
Yeah, it's still more light than. I mean, I had coffee with a friend yesterday who had read the book and seen it, and she didn't like the book because she thought the sciencey stuff was bogged it down,
which can be.
But
hard.
that's how Andy Weir writes.
Yeah,
and she also didn't find Ryland Grace, the protagonist, likable, which I guess you could make that argument. But then she saw the movie because she likes Gosling, and she liked the movie more, though she's not as enamored by the movie. She said, "Why are people comparing it to Interstellar?" And I said, "Well, I haven't heard a lot of that, but it's not the Interstellar is heavier.
Yeah,
there's more sciencey stuff in the movie. It's more a bit of like a mind bending thing. This is science fiction. It's relatable because it's about the potential end of humanity, but they don't do it in terms of like, oh, there's a climate crisis. So like, something. The premise of Project Hail Mary is that the sun is dimming. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's in terms of reading the book and then seeing the movie, I liked both. The things that they left out of the movie, I thought they made good choices because the movie does not bog down in scientific explanations. It tells you what you need to know. Yes, there are a couple sciencey things, but they're done in the spirit of keeping the story going, and in the spirit of keeping the story going. Yeah. Like if it wasn't something that was going to advance the story, they didn't really put it in the book, or they just very quickly tell you what's happening and now how are the characters reacting to this. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that there's an alien being in it.
Yeah.
Who is a puppet, at least for the most part, which I think is great. They didn't just computer generate.
Is it a puppet?
Everything.
Yeah,
it's a puppet. I think the large majority of the time. Cool. Yeah, I think there might be some scenes.
I was wondering how they did it
specifically near the
solid.
end, but yes, so that was really good. But I just think it's also great that a movie is being talked about and that a lot of people are going to see it in the theater, and also that it's out at this time of year because they could have made this a summer release, like a May long weekend release. It's kind of good. I like that they put it out in March, which is usually sort of February, especially can kind of be more of a dumping ground, or like here's the weird horror movie, like Ready or Not 2, which I went and saw, which is, and there's that movie called They Will Kill You that is out now. It's usually the season for those types of movies. Right. So it's cool. They kind of put out a blockbuster with a big name performer at this time of year. I think it's a very good movie.
Max Pizzo said it's like junior high Interstellar. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's like it's okay to have sort of a pop, especially like in this day and age. Like everything's kind of dark. There's a lot of negativity and questions in the world. I think it's okay to have a movie that deals with potentially the end of humanity, but is still kind of an upbeat, comedic, and as I said, a buddy movie. Yeah, I went with a friend. And she said she cried 3 times, and there was a line near the end where even crusty old Wilkie felt a little bit of moisture.
Got
in the
dusty
eyes.
In there.
Yeah, so it's good. Now I also think we're at the point where it's been out 3 weeks? Was it March 20th? It came out.
It's been out enough.
It's been out at least 2 weeks.
Long enough. Yeah.
I think we're maybe through 3 weekends now. So I do think we're now going to have people like my friend who go see it and be like, well, what's all the fuss about?
It's been pumped up a little high.
It is not the greatest move ever made.
No.
It may not stay with you. It may just be you go and you see it and you have a good time. But I just think it's interesting. It's it's good. It's being talked about. I was pleasantly surprised because I often go to movies downtown.
Yep.
I often go to matinees. They're often not very well attended,
that's
and
what I did.
I'm worried about City Center Mall. It used to
Same.
be a great mall to go.
Now it's
go to. There's
ghost
hardly
town.
anything open.
Yeah.
When I was there Friday night, it was
That movie theater gets
It
filled.
was over 80% full.
Yeah.
Like there, and we had the seats like the little two, which
the
they were
side.
fine. The two off to the side. There was nothing in the middle, in the main area. So I'm glad it's got people going to see a movie.
Does it go up for Oscars?
I'm going to predict right now, especially because now they can nominate up to 10 Best Pictures, and they did this because of the Dark Knight Rise or the which one? There's one of the Batman movies that's why they expanded it because it didn't get nominated, and it was kind of like it would never have won, but we need to nominate more
That'd be part of it.
blockbuster movies. I mean,
Gosling's going to be up for Best Actor.
Well, because he's by himself most of the time.
He carries
Yeah.
an
Yes.
entire movie in a great way that has captivated people.
Right.
I
I think it'll be nominated for Best Picture because they can nominate
Yeah.
up to 10. You know, like even like F1.
I still haven't seen that.
That's
I wanna
one
see
that got
that.
nominated because it's the expanded category, and it's like the bigger commercial movie that got nominated.
When I think of Interstellar, which was a great movie, but
That is one of my favorites.
you
of all time.
have to you have to think and you have to remind yourself
It is Christopher
and
Nolan
by
too.
the end,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
what?
wow.
Oh yeah, this and like
Yeah.
this one, it just moves quick, and then by the time it's over, you're like, damn, that was good, and you're like, that was 2.5 hours, like wow. But Interstellar is like deep, and
There's not as much comedy in that one. There's very
and you're
little
like-
almost.
and it's like
but it's
so many layers to it, and you're like, okay, what
the
happened?
soundtrack to that one, and Interstellar is one of my absolute favorite.
It's a great
movies
film.
of all time.
But this is lighter. Raider Jesse's talking about it. He says Project Hail Mary was such a great adaptation of the book. People are talking about Interstellar mostly from an original sci-fi film and box office perspective. And obviously the tie-in to it both being space movies, if you will.
Yeah, but I just can't emphasize enough.
Timothy Chalamet in Interstellar.
What's that?
Timothy Chalamet in Interstellar.
Who was he in
kid?
that?
He was the son.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
One of
remember
actually, he says it's one of his favorite roles.
that. Oh, wow.
Even though he didn't get used as a lot
don't
of stuff,
remember
but he
him
also
being in
loves
that.
that movie being part of it. Yeah, he's just that son. So he's early on.
So he wasn't in a lot.
No.
But just, I can't emphasize enough. Like, Project Hail Mary is, it's a movie about a friendship.
Yeah.
And and they pulled, certainly as you go through the book, you realize that's what it's about. The book has what I think is a beautiful ending. The movie has the same ending, and that's not a spoiler because I'm not saying what the ending is, unless you've read the book, I guess. Then I think you'll be encouraged that the spirit of that ending is kept. And I don't think there's anything wrong. I always used to get in a sort of a debate with a friend of mine who didn't like the King's. He didn't think the King's Speech should have won Best Picture.
It's a good movie.
And I was like, but it's a movie about a friendship. It's a movie about these two guys connecting, like the king and the speech therapist. Like that's can be a great story. And I think that's what I like about Project Hail Mary.
And it's not a religious movie. And I told my mom, girlfriend and I were going, and we said we're going to go see Project Hail Mary, and then on yesterday go see Family, and like, how was your religious movie? And we're like, what?
wow.
But Hail Mary.
It's a reference to the football play.
Exactly. And I was like, the reference of Hail Mary isn't even the religious part of that.
Oh, wow.
So my mom, because my mom didn't know that, but it was because they're like, how was your religious movie? I'm like, what religious movie?
Fulfilling on this weekend especially.
Well, I believe the original title
mom.
was The Passion of the Gosling. then they went with Project Hail Mary.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a solid movie. It's a good way to. It's my first new release movie of the year going to the theaters.
I think I'm going to be going to the theater quite a bit.
There's a lot this year.
Yeah.
Once I think Mex Bezos or somebody said maybe they distanced it to try to distance itself from Disclosure Day. That's why they released
That
it
looks
earlier
awesome.
to be away from Disclosure Day.
Is that June or July? And
That's June.
Grogu is in May.
Spider-Man in July.
There's the girl Super.
Supergirl is June or
Supergirl.
July. Yeah.
You got Doomsday later in December.
Those are December though.
But there's talk of that one moving off of December 18th.
Doomsday is going to be
because
epic.
of Dune.
There's talk that now it's Doomsday will maybe be the one to chicken out and move.
ahead.
Dune 3. I don't know.
I still have not watched Dune, and I know you gave it to me. I have it. I have it still.
I think those are
They look incredible.
Is that considered sci-fi?
Yes, absolutely.
I would put Dunes ahead of Project Hail Mary for myself for
Well, they're more
Sci-fis.
sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah, but like in terms of my favorite sci-fis, but like Project Hail Mary's up there now. But yeah, I'm the trailer for 3 came out. I watched it again, and when it was in theater, I'm like, yes, I can't wait. Like,
I have no clue what any
gonna
of
be
that
awesome.
is happening. They had it before the movie, before Hail Mary, and I'm like, okay.
And
You got to get the spice.
I'm way behind.
It's also Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Odyssey coming out this year in the summer.
That one I want
Oh,
to see.
right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That
I'm
one looks
just
cool.
a sucker for Christopher Nolan.
He's pretty good.
He's fantastic with that stuff. And Devil's Wears Prada 2 coming out in a couple months or in a month.
I never saw the first one.
It's
I should
actually
go watch
pretty
it.
good.
Like, it sounds like it's pretty funny.
Actually pretty good.
And that's
Yeah.
like a young
Yeah.
Emily Blunt and a young Hathaway.
Yes, with Meryl
And
Streep.
Meryl Streep just torturing them.
It's Stanley Tucci.
She's the best.
I watched
She's in
it.
Project Hail. Oh,
Yes, she is. That's not a spoiler.
I watched it a couple weeks
That's
ago.
not a spoiler.
And I'm like, because I was like, yeah, let's watch it. So we watched, and now I want to go see it in theaters.
yeah,
I'll
I
be
should
excited
watch it.
to go
Would
see
my
it. It's
crusty
actually
old
not
heart
bad.
enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. My
yeah,
crusty
I think
old
you
heart
would.
did.
I think you'd appreciate it. There's a lot of clever
Yeah.
bits to it. Coach Mike says, Hail Mary is a family-friendly sci-fi movie. Really enjoyed it. It had a lot of charm. It has a lot of charm. That's a great way to
Yeah, that's why
describe it.
I call it wonderful. Like
Yeah.
and that's as much as I like darker and quirky stuff. Sometimes it's like this is just a cool movie.
Yeah.
There's a way if you're not into sci-fi stuff, there's a easy to just it won't impact you. I think you could watch it not being a sci-fi fan.
That's a great point because again, it's a buddy movie.
But it-
Interstellar, you have to. There's so much going on with the
You gotta
sci-fi
invest
stuff.
in
Like
paying
it's-
attention.
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this, if you just want to like meh on the sci-fi part, the friendship part that you keep talking about, it carries that movie where
Yeah.
you don't need to care about the sci-fi.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, I keep thinking about like, what's happening here? How did this play out in my mind? And what's the author's name? Andy
Weir.
And he said he did say he might have a sequel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd
but
want
it was in one of those. Like GQ or Vogue, they'll do the sit downs with the director and author and stuff and one of the actors, and he was asked about I don't know if it was a cliffhanger or something that was part of the story that was left to be interpreted, and he goes, yeah, because I left that there in case there is a sequel, so not to say there will be. He obviously would write the book.
Yeah.
But but there's a few things that are a bit ambiguous because he left it open ended. Maybe he does one, but I hope not.
He wrote a book called Artemis.
I read that.
It's weird that that's I'm just
Yeah.
with what's
It
going
was
on.
not that good. And
Right, but with going on with Artemis,
I know.
like that's
Yeah.
that's wild to me.
it's all and I read The Martian.
It won awards.
And I didn't think The Martian was that great. And I didn't think The Martian movie was that great.
I didn't mind it. It was,
Maybe I've just
it was
seen that one.
interesting.
They're just
I have to
okay.
go watch that one.
But first, and then I wouldn't have touched Project Hail Mary except then I saw the movie was coming out with Gosling. So I was like, I want to read it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
The Artemis did win a couple of awards. The Goodreads Choice Awards for Science Fiction, the Dragon Awards Science Fiction Novel, and the Geffen Award for Science Fiction. I don't know what the Oscars is of the book writing
not
world.
sure.
Yeah, it's just with Artemis and going around the moon and all that. And
The voice that they use for Rocky the alien, it was funny to find out that they just used the puppeteer, the main puppeteer's voice, and
I really
it's
want to
like
see
really
the
fitting.
puppet of this.
Yeah, it's big. Like it's not because they said Rocky is the size of a full-grown Labrador, and those are big dogs.
Right.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah, and I think because I watched like a breakdown of the movie. I like new rock stars. I think that Aaron Voss, I think is his name, does a great job, and he catches a lot of details. Eric Voss. And they, what do they say? Oh, like the detail in Rocky, like he's got for his mate, there's like a little, like it would be like the wedding band. And then
All right.
when he puts his arms together, that like shows who he is. It's like his tattoos kind of like battle scars type of thing. It was really neat how they came up with how the look came to be for the film. And the author, I think he said, he basically nailed my vision of
nice.
it. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm just glad people are talking about
it's
going to the
a great
movie,
movie.
or wanting to see something, because there's so much now, like just stream it or watch a TV show or whatever.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Did that come out?
Yeah. April 1st. Expositosi wants to read from you next. Jen says 2 post-credit scenes for anyone going.
In Super Mario Galaxy.
I'm assuming so for that one.
I couldn't get through the first one.
What?
I fell asleep.
It flies by in like
I know.
90 minutes.
Well, maybe I
It
should
just
go back
goes
and
by. It's
watch
great.
it.
For what it is, it's great.
Yeah. The great cameos, like
And
Fred
Yoshi's in this one.
Armisen is the old Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
He's pretty funny in that. But maybe it was the time and day I watched it, and if I was worn out, and I'm like, I can't get through this.
Need to get to Over Under Plowberta. Download the app, visit them, plowberta.ca. EST specials will be loaded up today. We'll have the Screw It, Let's Do It coming up on EST Afternoons. Jay's Play of the Day. Lock Shop, I'm sure we'll have something built for today. Also, it's Masters Week as well. I might be doing the Lock Shop on Wednesday, so I can't wait for that one, because Huss and I then get to build some master plays, which will be a great time.
Should mention, because we didn't get to it, but we'll have more on my show. The Oil Kings have Game 7 tonight.
That's right.
Overtime win yesterday.
I wound up, so I watched it on, I started watching it on Victory Plus about halfway through the third. Blades tied it with 8 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
Blades were furious. They thought that there should have been a check from behind on the Oil Kings in the second overtime. Maybe there should have been, but their tripping penalty was an obvious trip that gave the Oil Kings the power play, which led to the game-winning goal. So that's, and I will say to people, hey, if you can go tonight, go. It's great, but I know the Blue Jays are playing the Dodgers. I know it's the NCAA final. But Victory Plus is free.
Yes.
And you can sign up on your phone. Now, I was at my parents' yesterday afternoon, so it says, like, find the app. And on some TVs, it's not there. But if you go to Google Play, then you can get it and then still get it that way.
Watch it that way.
Yeah, but I think on some TVs, you can just find the Victory Plus app.
Yeah.
If you can't find it, go to either the Apple Store or the Google Store on your TV and get it. It's free. So you could have the Oil Kings on, and if you can't go tonight, you can watch it.
Ducks and Stars are on Victory Plus. I'm assuming it's blacked out, but they have TV deals on Victory Plus, and the FanDuel Sports Network's closing at the end of next month.
What?
Yeah, they'll get through the first round of the playoffs for NHL and NBA.
They just rebranded like a year and a half ago.
That one's done.
Wow.
So there's talk of it with a Victory Plus come through. But over under Artemis 2 is going to be around the sun, or around the moon, not the sun. Starting at 11 o'clock, you could watch it. Over under 1.5 aliens we find on the other side of the moon.
Hit the over. Let's get the full review.
1.5 aliens we find on the dark side
That's
of the
the
moon.
over-under.
Yeah, over under, Reid.
Under.
Damn
No
it.
fun.
Buzzkill.
So that's what else? Do you know what else is coming up on Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne today?
Kurt Hill, Oil Kings GM, is going to be on the show. We'll have the latest from Oilers practice. And Scott Edwards, Panda's basketball coach, is going to tee up the NCAA final with us.
EST Afternoons, myself and Gager, Andrew Gross from New York to talk Islanders, the firing of Patrick Waugh. We'll obviously get into Oil Kings too, and a few other things. And it is Masters Week, so we've got that in the spirit.
Yes.
Let's do it. You got Oil Stream recapping the Oilers' loss on Saturday and get set for Utah tomorrow night down in Salt Lake. And then Lock Shop, though, coming up next with Huss and with Jay. Reid, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
This was a wonderful hangout today. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage Live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, presented by Play Alberta. On behalf of Reid, Tommy, I'm Matt. Once again, thank you very much. Lock Shop with Jay and us coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Look at this. Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here, joining us today.